Good evening. Welcome you to this session. Bringing up our guest shortly for him to join. Much love, my brother, official Mr. Music. So I sent you request already, sir. You can join. Can you please send the request so I can accept here? I'm trying to send you request here. It's not connecting. Okay, I'm gonna accept that now. Okay, I'm trying to accept that. Sorry, I'm trying to accept right here to connect you. It's not connecting. Oh, unable to join. Sorry, I'm trying to accept the request.
What's up?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
My
I'm gonna need you to stop calling me sir.
God.
Stop
Yes,
calling me sir.
sir.
You're making me feel old.
No, 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 no. You deserve the respect, sir. Oh, wow. This feels like a dream come true, man.
I know, right? What's up, man? Appreciate you guys, man.
Yes,
Appreciate you.
yes, sir. Good evening. How are you doing today? How's been your day?
Good, good. It's snowing outside right now,
Yeah.
so it's cold.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And right here it's kind of sunny, man. We are entering into the sun
Yeah,
and it's season. Okay, all right. So without wasting much of your time, let's just get straight to the business because we don't want to take much of your time.
all good. All good.
All right. Okay, let us have a short prayer, son. Our great love and Father Almighty God, we want to thank you for this great moment that you have given us the privilege to witness. Father Lord, we are here right again for another session this evening. We pray, oh God, that you speak through our guest this evening, and we pray for wisdom, knowledge, and more understanding for him to be able to share with us the things we need to step up our game, and at the end of everything, may your name be highly exalted. For in Jesus' name, that we is able to keep us from falling. We have prayed.
Okay. Excellent, excellent.
Yes,
So it's my
yes,
pleasure to be
sir.
here.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, all right. Good evening, fams, ladies and gentlemen. You're all welcome to another session of Let's Talk Music on Drum Gurus, and right here where we bring to your screen different facilitators across the globe, and right here. This evening we are super excited and privileged to have this amazing musician. I mean, he has been such a great mentor to me over the years. Like I've been watching him playing. Like he's a great legend, like one among the greatest of all time.
Wow.
From Canada, like he is guy. He's a great musician. Somebody who is very diligent in what he does. A husband, a father, someone with different endorsement. Remo, we see it, Electrolysian is a great artist, and we are super excited to have him,
Hmm.
Mr. Andwele Simmons. Thanks for coming around, sir, and we
Thank
hope
you, thank
that
you.
we're going to be blessed. So, without wasting much of our time, let's just get straight into business. So, my first question right here is that can you just share with us how the whole journey started, the musical journey started, how the orchestra with along as well as your background?
Sure. So, although I live in Canada, I'm actually originally from an island called Bermuda.
Mm,
So, um, growing up, I grew up around a family of musicians. My father being the primary influence, he is a bass player. He played drums, he played keyboards,
wow,
and they had a reggae band back then called Dread
wow,
Information. So when I was coming up, he would bring me at a young age to the studio with him when it was time for rehearsal.
Mm.
Um, so give me a second. I'm just going to share this live to my stories.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
All right. So yeah, so there was an opportunity for me to pretty much shadow him, and um, a
Mm.
really big mentor of mine was Jimmy Ferbert. He was
Mm.
perhaps my first drum set influence of all time. Um,
Mm.
and Yeah, so I was playing drums like I could play a full song at about 2 years old. And
Mm.
from a young age, I started to get recognized from the likes of like Ziggy Marley and
Mm.
because they would come through Bermuda and do shows. My dad would open for bands like Third World, Vital Information, as well as another Bermudian band. So I had a lot of family influence coming up with drums. In addition to that, my culture, um, there's a native dance called gumbes, and
Mm.
it's it's usually a drum line. So you would have one bass drum and then several snare drum players, um,
Wow.
and then and they would play for dancers that were dressed in costumes, very much
Wow.
African culture inspired, some Native
Mm.
American inspired as well. But
Yes, sir.
so I played and danced gumbes. Um, and so growing up in school, I played drums um, with different bands. I also had my own youth band, like a reggae band, um,
Yeah.
with my younger brother Jackie and my childhood best friend Desta. We started a band called Kizazi Kipaya, which means in
Mm.
Swahili young, new generation. So
Mm.
we played reggae at different venues and stuff like that. And
Mm.
fast forward to high school, where I really started to take drums seriously. I had
Mm.
my music teacher Anna Flood. She really cultivated that hunger that burned inside of me, and
Mm.
we went about really me getting stuck in with band and playing in different choirs when I was younger, in
Mm.
school. And then eventually I
Mm.
got into playing jazz professionally as well as teaching. So I was
Wow.
teaching at a pretty young age. I'd say about 16 or so. Um,
Wow.
I started teaching, and that was a part of a scholarship that I wanted to be able to. I wanted to be able to go to this music school that I couldn't afford.
Mm.
So
Mm.
in order for me to do that, I started to work at the school in order to pay my
Mm.
tuition, and that's
Yes,
where
sir.
the teaching side started. And then out of high school, like I said, I started my own school. And in
Mm.
addition to that, I also got into doing um, some live work with some jazz musicians that I came up around, influenced a whole lot of my playing. Um, and um, yeah, the rest is history from there. Just a lot of, in addition to that, in addition to that, I also did really develop a passion for drums in another way, where
Mm.
I began to become a drum technician. So I was starting to work backstage at
Mm.
festivals
Mm.
and things that would come to Bermuda as the resident
Yes,
drum
sir.
technician. So I was so I used to do a lot of drum technician work for major artists, everyone from small to
Mm.
really big artists. Um,
Wow.
Met a lot of really great people along the way,
Yes,
and
sir.
and now here you have me, Andwele Simon.
Hmm. Wow, that's so amazing. Like, I mean, it's indeed a great journey. I mean, it's way back to, one thing that really got me attracted to you, and I've been a fan of the music over the years, is like how you have been passionate and in making impact, and your love for this music and drumming and everything. Like, I mean, it's a whole lot, man. That really speaks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, another question right here again is, you're welcome, sir. Another one right here is, how could you describe the type of music you typically create? 1 second, sir,
Mhm.
because I've I've been a fan, like I said earlier on, like I've been a fan for a couple of years, and you are this type of musicians, drummer that has this great dexterity. I mean, your musical interpretation is a top notch. Like I mean, your feel, your groove, like the way you did the whole stuff, and I feel like who is this? Who is this man? Like, where is he from? Like, how could he be doing so much? Like, doing this. You do not struggle with what you do. Like, you play right from the inside, and the dexterity for me is so much amazing. And
Hmm.
kudos, sir. I really appreciate you. So, how can you describe the type of music you create?
Um, I think it starts. I like the question because you didn't ask me how do I play drums the way I do, like how do I create the music I play, and I think that goes into really why I play the way that I do. I don't consider myself a drummer. I consider
Huh?
myself I consider myself a musician. So
Yes, sir.
in my younger years, I would have been, keen to consider myself a drummer, right? But in my, my later years, just being able to fall in love with music, um,
Mm,
had a lot to do with my approach to music, and I think my culture has a lot to do with it too. So when I say that, I mean
mm,
this. When I was younger, I came up, around reggae music, and all I heard in my home was reggae music, reggae music, reggae music, reggae music.
mm,
And then being a Gumbe, and all I hear is Gumbes,
mm,
Gumbes, Gumbes, Gumbes. Eventually,
mm.
as a young person, you don't want that. You want to play
Yes,
what
sir.
everyone sounds,
What he's playing?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I want to play, what Calvin
So
Rodgers is playing. I want to play
something
all this.
different.
Yeah, exactly. But that was because I did not really appreciate what I had in making me unique. So
Mm,
one thing that kind of changed my perspective on how to approach music came when
mm,
I started to become musical director for a few different events and a few different artists that I was working with.
mm,
So my mind had to shift from being a drummer, right?
mm.
Drums, 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 drums
Drum songs. Yes, sir.
to how do I make this music feel good? And I think that's so important because outside of the music we create, right? Like we produce, we write it, we, you know, you know, invent this music. Where a lot of times when you're playing for an artist, you're playing someone else's music, and you have to think about
Yes,
what
sir.
went into creating that music,
Yes,
the
sir.
passion, right? The idea. What are they trying to,
Yes, sir.
what story
The,
are they trying to convey? Do I want to
yeah.
mess that story up by being too busy and doing, a
Yes,
whole
sir.
bunch of stuff, or do I
Okay.
want
Or
people to
locking in a pocket.
exactly, or do you want people to feel what was intended by the original artist?
Yes,
I
sir.
say all of that to say this.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
my approach to music has always been not always, but especially in my later years. I'm over 40 now, so in my
Yes,
later
sir.
years, I focused on lending my talent to the integrity of the music. So
Mm.
when it comes to music that I gravitate towards, I would say a lot of it is groove heavy. I love groove, and
That's
um,
amazing about you, sir.
mhm. like I love groove, and I love ethnic music. So I'll say, hmm, 8 years ago, only 8 years ago, I discovered this incredible music that changed my life. And when I tell you
Mm.
what it is, you're going to laugh.
What is this? What is that, sir?
Afrobeat, Afrobeat.
Wow. Wow. So you mean you love Afro
I
music, like Afrobeat?
love Afrobeat. I love Afro house. I love Amapiano. You know, I
Wow.
I I have so much affection for that music, and
Wow.
and but when I listen to the rhythm patterns in that music, I realized why it resonates so much with me because it
Mm.
all comes full circle. It comes
Yes,
full circle
sir.
with the reggae I came up on. It comes full
Mm.
circle with the gumbass. And then I got into playing jazz, and then I started to learn clave when I toured Cuba. So, and
Mm.
then I'm like, whoa, what's Afro-Cuban music? Well, really, it's African inspired
Yes, sir.
Cuban music.
Keep your music.
And I thought that
Yes, sir.
I used to think that Cuban music was, I used to think clave originated in Hispanic music. I was wrong. It's an
Mm.
African music,
Music.
right? So,
Yes, sir.
so,
Yes, sir.
so in most Afrobeat today, you're gonna hear the clave, and I'm like, this is, it speaks my, So a lot of times, what's funny is I'm not African, although I'm
Mm.
African descent. I've never
Mm.
been to the continent. I've heard and
Wow.
fallen in love with the music, but many people ask me, where are you from? Are
From.
you from Ghana?
Hmm.
Are you
Ghana.
from Nigeria? Are
South
you from
Africa or
Tanzania?
Nigeria.
Like, where are you from?
Yes, sir.
Exactly. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm from Bermuda, you know, but
Yes, sir.
it speaks to how universal music is. And I think that when I made that shift, like I said, from being concerned about
Hmm.
drums and falling in love with music, that's when my playing took
Hmm.
on a whole different personality.
Wow. 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 Okay, well, this is getting much more interesting, right? Yeah, I hope you guys are really enjoying the session, man. I'm like, I have a lot of stuff that I'm writing down right here, man. So, okay, another one right here is that what is it? What is it about music that makes you feel so passionate about it? I like you could probably venture into some other thing, probably be a lawyer, doctor, maybe, you know,
Hmm.
but what exactly really makes you feel passionate about it?
I heard a really great quote, and it was, find something you love to do and you'll never work a day in your life, right?
Hmm, hmm,
So when I so when I'm playing music and I'm in a position to earn income from music, um, it's not work. It's
hmm,
I'm enjoying, the process. But music, um, is very, very spiritual. And, our creator, Jehovah, he created music, right? We
hmm.
hear of choruses in heaven that's
Yes,
that that
sir.
that sing, right? So it didn't
Yes,
originate
sir.
with us. And
Hmm,
I think that as individuals, especially people who worship Jehovah, like, we have to make sure that we do do it justice. And that's why I'm very careful about what I play as well. I want to
hmm.
know I want to know what the content of the music is that I'm going to play.
Yes.
If I'm
Yeah.
not comfortable with the content, whether it be, sexually explicit content, or,
Hmm,
certain spiritistic elements, or
hmm.
violent, or, all those,
Yes, sir.
like, I don't lend my talents to those things, but because um, I realize that music is a gift from our creator.
Yes, sir.
So 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 with that in mind, I respect music, and that's why it's
Hmm.
so much passion that comes out of it for me. Like, I just love it. And let's just be honest, you can be in any kind of mood and you can find music that lends itself to that mood.
Yes, sir.
So
That's
if you're
right.
in bad
That's right.
if you're in a
That's
bad
right.
mood, you can find music that's going to lend itself
A
to that
song, yes,
mood.
that really suits in for that mood.
Right, exactly. But then also you can find music that can pull you out of a bad mood. And I think that's the beauty
Mm.
of and the power of music, because sometimes you can have a friend that's trying to tell you, "Hey, listen, don't, do this, don't do that,
Yes,
do things
sir.
differently," right?
Yes,
And in reality,
sir.
he might say that, but then you could hear a song that kind of says, "Listen, stand up, feel better,
Yes, sir.
things are going to get better." It's something about the melody that connects with us, and that can um bring us out of those dark places. So I say all that to say this. Um, because of my respect for the music and the power that it has in people's lives,
Mm.
like I said, I'm very careful. But then when I do lend
Mm.
my talents to that music,
Mm.
I want to do it justice. So that's why I
Yes,
play the way
sir.
I do.
Mm. Mm. Mm,
Does that make
wow.
sense?
Well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Superb. 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 All right. Okay. Okay. Let's move on again. Okay. I think another one that I have here is about your interpretation to music, which you have, I think you have explained that earlier. So another one right here is that you like you have been a great artist, and at least you've traveled across the globe, and you've mingled with several artists. So how did you cope as a musician among equals sometimes?
Very good question. Um, hmm. Uh, okay. There's So when you say equals, are you talking about other drummers or other musicians or the
Yes,
artists
like
you're
I
working
mean,
with?
yes, like I mean, like other like, for example, when you're in a room whereby you have several musicians that, I mean, it can be the bassist, people of high caliber, whereby people who are good at what they do, that's what I mean. Like in such rooms, how do you cope? And
How do you cope? How do you thrive? That's a really good question, and I think it all comes down to what am I here for?
hmm,
So why am I here? And honestly, that's a question I have for a lot of my friends as well. For instance,
hmm,
many friends of mine, are really high A-list artists with different companies that I work with, right? Like Zildjian, with Vic Firth, um, and I asked them, like, man, what was it like to be in that room full of musical giants,
hmm,
and
hmm.
and and they have to talk to themselves, right? Like, because here's the thing,
Yes, sir.
you can play an arena with some of the greatest musicians. You've practiced, you've prepared, you know your parts, right? But
Yes,
then
sir.
but then say you're playing drums, right? And then over to your left you see a Chris Coleman. Oh no. What am I gonna, like, do I do I
And I'm going to play
do I
right here.
is it time for me to do my job, or is it
Hmm.
time for me to impress is it time for me to impress him? What do you think's really going
Hmm.
to impress Chris Coleman? Do you think,
Hmm.
hey, look at what I can do is going to impress Chris Coleman, the man with the
Hmm.
limitless
Hmm.
drum vocabulary? Or do you
Hmm.
think that the way that you execute your job is going to um, impress him? And because
Hmm.
he's just another man, and he's just a
Hmm.
man that's prepared differently from you, right? Like, and he's got
Yes,
talents that
sir.
he's using in a good way. So what am I
Yes,
saying?
sir.
I'm saying do your job, right?
Hmm.
Whatever you're there for, whatever you've prepared for, do your job. Don't get
Hmm.
caught up in who's in the audience.
Hmm.
You because you can be worried about that person that's in the audience and lose the job you were there for, right?
That's right, sir.
So focus on your job. And then when it comes to playing um with high caliber artists and working with high caliber artists, I would say this as a piece of advice to anyone who does or who thinks about that. Um, they're human beings too,
Hmm.
and in certain situations it might not feel that way. But at the end of the day, if you were hired because of what you can bring to the
To the
table. Um,
table. Yes, sir.
and just execute that. Like, there's no space for ego in those ways. And I
Hmm.
mean, I don't get. I've worked, like I said, with some really big artists, and I don't get starstruck because I recognize that they're just humans. Like, they're
Hmm.
just a human being.
Hmm.
Like,
Yes,
if he and
sir.
I breathe, if that person and I just happen to get sneezed on by the same person, we're probably going to catch the same cold,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes,
So
sir.
they're
That's
so
right.
they're just another person. But and then I think about this. Um, how does the most uh, how did the most famous human being of all time make others feel around them? And I'm talking about Jesus.
Hmm. Yes, sir.
He was a beautiful person, even down to the point where children felt comfortable around him.
Comfortable
Now, you tell
with
me,
him.
you tell me, another, let's say a politician or famous person that's going to make children gravitate toward them and know that
Yeah.
they're not going to make them feel, no, that's not going to
Feel
happen,
so
right? So the way that I view individuals is just that, like they're just people, and
so
even the way that people view me, which is really bizarre, because don't I don't like, I'm just another guy, right? Like I might have different privileges or abilities, um that that maybe some other people don't have the
don't
ability
like
or the privileges to
yes sir
have, but
sir
I'm just another guy.
mm,
So I don't think that anyone should carry themselves like they're, better than
better
anyone.
than
I don't
other
care.
so
No, not at all. I don't care if you are Beyonce. You don't deserve to carry yourself better than another person.
sir
So I think that no matter what level of success we may achieve in this world,
mm,
if you carry yourself as a lesser one,
mm,
recognizing that you're just another human, and you can learn, everyone can learn from each other, I think
yes
that
sir
is way more, has way more impact
yes sir
than the guy that's rolling through with the security team and he knows
mm,
he's great, and like
yes sir
you might touch drumsticks, but you're not touching lives, and that's more important to me. I want
mm,
to touch lives. I don't want to
yes
touch
sir
drumsticks all my life.
thumbsticks wow
Yeah.
man this is you know as you're saying that it really boils me down to I mean when I sent you the first invite for this interview section, I've always seen you as somebody because I've been a fan. I've been a fan, and at least I've not seen you physically, but I could tell a bit about you because you're somebody whom I love, whom I've been watching over
Appreciate
time. So
that.
I one thing I like about you is just I think two among the traits and qualities which I really love about is one your humility. Like it's really so amazing and now again, you just proved to me that you are somebody who live by what they preach, like who practice what they teach. Because you just said it now, like the humility right there is for me when we sent you the invite and you were just like, come on, let's do it. Like I was like, wow, this is just amazing. I'm not trying to elogize you or trying to say this because you are right here, but this is just who you are because I knew so many, so many musicians right there that we've put a letter to, and we are not hungry because most of them are right quite busy, and that's why most times when we send the invite like this, I really have loved it to be the time that as your leisure time that you are available for us because I know you are you people right there, you have a whole lot to do on the table, family, a
Mm.
whole lot of responsibility to attend to. So we really appreciate this a lot and more grace, sir, more grace, more grace, more grace. You're amazing, amazing. I
I appreciate
celebrate you,
that.
sir.
Thank you. I appreciate
Sir,
that. Likewise,
okay.
it's I mean, even with that, like it just depends on my availability. Like, shortly I have an event that I'm going to be going to, like, in the next little while. So, I'm
So,
like let's just get let's I don't, again, I'm not too, it depends on the nature of the invite, like I don't take all invites, but
yes,
I
sir.
am, I but I can tell that, I could have some impact if at all possible. And I mean, you've interviewed some of my friends, so absolutely. And keep up the good work, man. Like it appears to me
Thank
that
you,
you're
sir.
just trying to add value to people. Um,
Thank you,
and
sir.
and in whatever small way I can contribute, I'll be happy to do that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. We're super excited about it. Okay, let's continue again. Okay, another one right here. Like when it comes to your drumming, like the most amazing part of your drumming is when it comes to your feel, your groove, and your kick patterns.
Hmm.
Like the way, like I mean, that's I have a whole lot of your videos online watching you. I mean, and I try to compare most times, like the kick patterns aren't from here. Like the way it's like the punching and the way it soaks down to the way it creates this kind of atmosphere, like it creates a basement for the music to sit on. Even
Mm,
some of your covers, the way you interpret them is just amazing. So I have a question now. That the question now is that what can you just tell us something about like your drumming and bass relationship? Because I really discovered that I studied one of what I think this was one of your cover. I think you're praying to, is it Cars Rodriguez or something? I
mm,
can't remember. I can't remember the title of the track. So like the way the kick is going along with the bass,
mm,
it's it's kind of there's this kind of relationship you're trying to create right there, and I'll be like, woo woo woo. It can only be somebody who is musically inclined that could sense that and could really understand that. So I
mm,
caught that and it's during my attention. So what can you say, like
mm.
drum and bass relationship? I just wanted to say something about, like,
It,
not even just for me, like for audience that are watching us.
I think that's probably the most important relationship in any band, right? Your bass and your drums.
Mm,
I mean, the rhythm section entirely, but the two, like those two elements in the band to me have to, um, they have to have a very strong marriage.
mm,
Um, and one where there's give and take. But I think when you speak about that, I don't know if you're talking about Lumix from Kaz.
yeah. Is
Um,
it, is it Lumix, or I think that should be Lumix, but I
it
know
could
it's a
be
cast
Lumix.
track.
Like I play so many of. That's my brother. Shout out to Kaz Rodriguez.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
um, I yeah, I think it comes down. So for instance, if I put that song on for the first time and played it, I probably wouldn't have played it that way, but I listened to this music that I like, right? Like outside of the drum room. So and I recognize different stuff. And again, I think because I'm more concerned with like what I play, what kind of impact it's going to have on the music. I want
Music.
to play stuff
Yes, sir.
that's going to have an impact, right? But
Yes,
if I
sir.
can demonstrate, I want to demonstrate something for you really quickly about my culture
Okay.
that
Yes, sir.
kind of lends itself to kind of why, um, you know, lends itself to why I play the way that I do. Can you see? Okay, yeah, I wanted you to see the
Yes,
snare drum.
sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
so
I can see that.
we have, as I mentioned, I just dropped something. I'm gonna have to find it after. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
so we, in Bermuda we have gumbays, right? So
Yes, sir.
it's bass drum and it's snare drums and it's almost like marching, but it's really 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 syncopated rhythmic stuff. But
Mm.
and I trust me, I have a point. But
Yes,
anyway,
sir.
like so coming up, this is what I heard, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So
Yes, sir.
so
Yes, sir.
I demonstrated that because um one thing the only thing that was constant in that was,
Was it kick? Yes, sir.
so I think that lends itself a lot to how I approach um
Mm.
music and the bass drum, because and in our culture what we say is the bass drum is the heartbeat,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes,
So
sir.
so 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 if you if you don't focus enough on like what the dancers that dance to that music, they're listening for is the bass drum for the tempo, and then there are different patterns played on the snare that kind of dictate, or we would play that um, accompany what the dancer is doing, right? So,
Yes, sir.
so the way I approach the music is that same relationship where the bass and the drums, we have to lock this thing down. We create the feel. We propose tempos, right? Like, and
Yes, sir.
and when that situation works well together, um, it lends itself to really good feeling music. So with that
Yes,
music,
sir.
in Lumix, there's a lot of different. Like I play it very different from Kaz, right? Like
Yes, sir.
Kaz
Definitely.
plays, yeah, Kaz plays it differently from me, but it's because of just the different influences that I have, like over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay,
I think this.
okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, um, so I focus a lot on what my bass drum's doing and what it means for the music
Yes,
and
sir.
how it so because a lot of times if I'm doing a cover, I don't have a bass player with me in the studio. I'm playing what's
Mm.
been already recorded. And
Yes, sir.
and what's funny is sometimes I could be in the car and I could listen to the same track that I just played to, and it feels
Mm.
very differently because I'm not
Different.
playing it, you know.
Yes, sir.
Um, so I get what you're saying. It's just I think
Mm.
fall in love with the music first. Um,
Mm.
like understand what the point of the production was,
Mm.
and when you do that, and your concern is not how great I'm going to be on this song, but how great this music's going to feel, then you're going to be able to um, play that way, if that makes any sense. I hope I didn't like confuse you by all of that stuff I said
Yes,
just
sir.
now.
Yes, sir. I'm with you. Yes, I understand. And that was clean and perfect.
Good.
Okay, yes, sir. All right, all right, all right. I really just want to rush things down, and I don't want us to take much of your time so that you can attend to some other things. I have just few questions left. Okay, all right. Another one again is I've always loved to ask this question to, every of our guests that we do have on this session, and
Hmm.
the question goes on the how. Are you with me, sir?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, so how do you like, you know, you are a great, like you're a great husband, and in being a great husband to your wife, a shout out to your wife, um, Andrea Simmons, and
Hmm.
you've been a responsible father to your daughter as well, Aria Simmons. I mean, so how were you able to make balance between music and family? I mean, that's
Hmm.
a whole lot.
It's easy to lose balance with that, but I think the most important thing is like if I love music. Music was around before both of them, but
Mm.
um, but mu- my my lot in life is not music. My lot in life is to live a good life, right? And to serve God and to um,
So,
be a good husband. So I think um, the point is to balance, proper balance. I mean, there's going to be times where music takes you away from your family,
so,
um,
uh,
and um, things like that. But make sure that you don't neglect what's most important, because music is not most important. I've heard many people say, you know, drum life and life is drums and life is no, it isn't. It's not.
hmm.
Like proper balance is you know put put the energy where it needs to be, and then make sure that whatever you're doing, you make it count. So if I'm
So,
working, I'm going to make it count for my family, and when I'm home and when I'm with my family, I'm going to make that count, because those are the memories that they're going to take. Not how good daddy was on the drums or how good my husband was on the drums, but how good of a father or husband was he.
so,
Is more important to me than how good of a drummer I am.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, it's amazing. It's amazing. Okay. Once again, okay. Another one here is uh, um, I would really love you to, like, you have been a great ambassador of different brands, Remos, Jan. I've seen your SC Electric, CRS, and like, can you just speak a little bit about some of the endorsement, like how
Sure.
did, okay?
Uh, what do you want to know?
Um, like, how did it all happen? Like, I mean,
Okay.
like when it comes to endorsement, there has to be this um level of, should I call it prosperity, or should I call it level of professionalism, which you must have attained
Hmm.
before you could get such, like. So I know the endorsement is not just for anyhow people, like, I mean, it's not just for anyhow musician. I mean, for you to get endorsed, this, it really shows how much you have invested in your craft.
Hmm. Hmm. I agree.
So so
So how did it happen? Well, you must understand that these companies, and I'm speaking in general, but all of these companies do not exist so that they can send me free gear, right?
mm,
Um,
mm, yes sir.
they exist to make money. So if they're sending me anything for free or anything for artist price, there must be a monetary reason for that, right? Like they're gonna make money
mm,
because of that, right?
yes sir.
Um, it's business first of all, and the question that anyone that's looking to get endorsements needs to ask is, what can I bring to the table in these kinds of relationships? Is it because
mm,
you think that you're really good and you can play chops, and stuff like that, or is it that you can have an impact on
mm,
on their people? Like, can you have an impact on buying patterns? Like, can you
mm,
influence people? Because let's be honest, um, you wouldn't know anything about
mm,
DW drums, or you wouldn't know anything about Zildjian cymbals, or you wouldn't know anything about SE Electronics, or Vic Firth drumsticks, or whatever company, right, that's out there. You wouldn't know anything about these guys unless your favorite drummer, or you've just, or someone that you would look up to, they're playing them, right? So you say,
yes
oh
sir.
wow, I like the way that ride that Dennis Chambers plays sounds. Like,
Yes sir.
what is
Yes
that?
sir.
I like those hi-hats. What snare drum is that? Ooh, I
Yes
like
sir.
that cymbal. I like this, right? Those sticks, you know. For instance, like the other day, um, like, just to tell you how important influence is. The other day I was in a music store and I happened to pick up a pair of Thomas Lang Vic Firth
First,
drumsticks.
well,
You look at Thomas Lang,
oh,
you love the way he plays. He's fast, he's
please.
like ambidextrous, he does everything crazy,
Yes sir.
and you're
Everything.
like,
Yes
I want
sir.
to play with his drumsticks, right? And you can't.
Yes.
You want to know why? Because they're marching drumsticks. They're huge.
mm,
They're like
yes sir.
they're
They're
these big.
heavy.
Yes. So it's like, what? Like, but
Is
for
this
those
what?
people who, for those people who want to play with really big drumsticks, right? Like, then fine, But again, what I'm trying to say is, many people would still buy those drumsticks because Thomas Lang plays them.
Please them. Yes sir.
So that's why Vic Firth made a special drumstick for Thomas Lang,
Mm,
right?
yes
That's an
sir.
endorsement. And an endorsement is your voice contributes to their sale. Simple and plain.
Sales. Yes sir.
So
Yes
I don't
sir.
exist. I don't exist to make people feel jealous about what I have, and
Mm,
oh man, he has the nice this and the nice that, and he's got all those symbols. And yet, listen,
yes.
at the end of the day, you can only hit one or two symbols at a time anyway. So,
Mm.
so the so the point is like, in reality, what these companies are looking for from anyone who wants
mm,
to be a part of their artist rosters, can they influence sales?
Sales. Wow.
Number one. And then, so the way that I got, the second most important thing is, are you the kind of person that they would want to work with, that they would
Mm.
want to represent their company?
Okay.
Um, so if you are a very controversial person, if you are very arrogant,
Mm.
or if you seem hungry just to get whatever you can, then a lot of times these
Mm.
companies, although you might be great, they might not want to work with you, um,
Mm.
be, because it doesn't. You're not the type of person they're probably going to want to work with. Whereas
Mm.
if you come to the table with a business intellect, right, like knowing what that means and how you can contribute, and you understand budgets, right? Because sometimes they don't have the
Yes,
budget to
sir.
send you what you want, right?
Mm.
Um,
Yes, sir.
and things like that. Um, and you're a person that they want to represent their brand, then that's what happens. So I say all that to say relationships is the second most important thing. When
Mm.
you have to
Yes,
have
sir.
good relationships with companies, with people,
Yes,
and
sir.
those relationships literally have been 80% of how I was able to get endorsements. Meaning,
Mm.
I
Mm.
have relationships with other drummers, I have relationships, good
Sir.
relationships with companies that I've worked with. And when I'm interested in other companies, I can ask them to, because they all know each other. All these companies, even the
Yes,
competitors, they
sir.
know each other, right? Um,
Yes, sir.
and and you know, so what I would do in certain situations, I would ask for referrals, and then it would lead
Yes,
to other
sir.
opportunities for me, right?
Wow.
Or you have relationships in places like Africa, or even in Canada, where they have distributors. Um,
Yes, sir.
the distributors would so I work with Coast Music. So Coast Music takes care of my Zildjian needs, my Vic Firth needs, my Remo needs,
Mm.
and now
Yes,
they take
sir.
care of Hercule. Now they take care of all my microphone stand needs.
Wow.
So, but that's because under the umbrella of Coast Music comes these different brands that they
Brands.
distribute.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So I
sir.
would so I wouldn't have my Remo deal without Coast Music. I wouldn't have
Mm.
my Hercules deal without Coast Music. I wouldn't have
Shout out to
opportunities
Coast
with
Music out there.
Coast
We
Music.
celebrate you.
Absolutely, right? But what I'm saying is, imagine if I was a terrible person and a really difficult artist,
Mm.
and these other brand, like, would they want to introduce me to these other brands?
Mm.
Probably not,
Mm.
right?
Ah.
So
Yes,
so
that would not
good
have been possible.
relationships, no, not at all. Like, you want to be a good person, and a genuine person, not like trying to be good so that you can get something, but you want to be a
Something from
genuinely
yes,
good person,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So that's
sir.
how those endorsements come. They translate and they realize that I
So
have
amazing.
influence. And then the other thing is that you're the type of person they want to represent their company.
Mm. Wow. So amazing, so amazing. So like it's really a great time. What an intensive session. I mean, it's indeed a whole lot. I mean, I've really learned a lot right here. And I know the audience that are watching across the globe, we're able to grab something special as well and learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for all this insight. So this last question, because we have to release you now, because we don't want to take much of your time.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your advice for young and upcoming drummers? You mean you have fans across the globe. Like, what's your advice for people out there that are always looking up to Andrew Simmons? Like, they see you as the role model, they see you as the mentor rather. They see you as somebody they look up to and somebody they probably want to become. So, what's your advice for them,
My
sir?
advice, my advice to them would be to um, develop develop integrity, a good personality, be a good person.
Sir,
Be an eternal student, like, always be willing to learn,
sir,
create meaningful relationships, foster good
sir,
relationships with people, study very hard so that you can
mm,
become proficient at whatever you're doing and whatever profession
mm,
you're doing. And I believe belief that when you do those things, opportunities and good things will come to you because you've prepared well.
So,
You're a good
uh,
person. You're always a student, and you've fostered good relationships. And just
so,
be more and be fall in love with music if you're a musician. Fall in love with
so,
music. Don't fall in love with your skills.
mm,
Think about think
mm,
about how important the music is and what your contribution to the music is, and that is what that's how you will be able to be successful in my mind.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wow, 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 wow. A big shout out to you, sir. I mean, this is this is a great moment. It's another great moment to learn something new. It can only get better. We keep learning. We keep learning. One of the great reasons about this music industry is that you need to keep learning, to keep growing. So
Absolutely.
so thank you very much for this amazing inspiration and motivational words of wisdom that you have shared. I mean, it's a whole lot. I know somebody else right there is being blessed.
Hmm.
Thank you so much for making yourself available. Thank you so much for honoring an invitation. I mean, you could probably be doing something right now, but you still choose to do with us, and the goal is much more about impact and relevance making.
Hmm.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sad. We are super excited. I mean, we don't know how to thank you.
You
Thank you so much. I mean, thank you very much. And to our audience watching us across the globe, I mean, you need to check him out. Please go on now to some of his social platform, Andrew Simmons on Instagram. Check his YouTube account on Facebook, Andrew Simmons. Try to follow me. I mean, we don't bring to your screen, I mean, just ordinary people. I mean, these are people who are great and diligent and good at what they do. I mean, these people have had several years of experience, decades years of experience, and it's always a pleasure for younger folks like us, I mean, to grab, to draw from the world of their experience.
hmm
So a big shout out to Rexati, sir. Love you, sir. Welcome, sir. Thanks for joining in. Salute you. So thank you very much for coming around. Really love you. You're amazing. Thank you, thank you. My regards to your family. I mean, you are doing a great job, sir. You're doing a great job. It's not an easy task to be a musician and be a responsible father and an husband, man.
yeah.
It's really a great responsibility, and I really pray to God to always give you the wisdom, the understanding, and strengthen you more to be able to deliver well and take up greater responsibility. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We want to say very big thanks to everybody. We are going to save this live session so that you can watch back later. You can always come to account to watch and to learn something new. So thank you very much. We are bringing the live session to a close. For some of you that are just joining, we are saving the live section so you can as well go back and dwell much on it and learn some things. So thank you very much for coming around. We bring today's session to a close. Thank you, fans, for coming, and see ya all some other day. And stay tuned on our account to see much more about guests we are bringing up next. So love you, sir. Salute you. We bring greetings to you from Nigeria. Thank you very
Amazing.
much from Africa. Thank you very much, and have a great day,
Likewise, I
sir.
appreciate you guys.
Awesome.
Shout out to
So
Rex
you're
Harvey.
welcome, sir. Yes,
All right,
sir.
peace.
Excited, sir. We love you. Yes,
That's
sir.
my bro.
All
All right,
right, sir.
talk soon,
Yes,
y'all.
sir.
Ciao.
Yes, sir.